Thank my good friend for yielding. I also want to thank Chairman Nadler, Ranking Member Collins, my good friend, Chairman Cicilline, as well as Ranking Member Sensenbrenner, the lead Republican on this issue, for their partnership in tackling the soaring cost of life-saving prescription drugs. Today, we are offering another bipartisan solution, the Stop Stalling Act, to crack down on abusive behavior in the pharmaceutical industry as we endeavor to make prescription drugs more affordable for everyday Americans. Prescription drug costs in the United States are skyrocketing. 4 of the top 10 prescription drugs in the U.S. have increased in price by more than 100% since 2011. Studies have shown that increased competition in the pharmaceutical arena, rather than monopoly-like behavior, lowers prescription drug costs. The entry of generic drugs into the market to compete with brand-name drugs can dramatically reduce prices for the American people. It's a simple economic principle that is as American as apple pie. Competition lowers prices. In fact, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration said, quote, generic medicines have the same therapeutic effect as their branded counterparts, but are typically sold for an estimated 80 to 85% less compared with the price of brand name medicine. In order to artificially inflate the cost of prescription drugs, some companies are blocking generic competition into the market. In this regard, stalling tactics are sometimes used to delay the launch of generic products that can compete with brand name drugs. One of these tactics is the filing of sham petitions with the FDA. Citizen petitions were never designed as an avenue for branded companies to artificially inflate drug costs by stalling the entry of generic brands into the market. Congress designed the citizen petition process to let ordinary Americans raise legitimate public health concerns with drugs under review by the FDA. Brand name drug companies have hijacked this process and started flooding the FDA with fake, meritless safety concerns about generic drugs. The FDA is required under law to respond to each petition, thereby wasting time and taxpayer-funded resources on often frivolous claims. While the sham petitions are in review, the generic drugs being petitioned sit in limbo without approval and out of reach from everyday Americans. Take, for example, a brand name company called Viral Pharma that inundated the FDA with 24 citizen petitions and 22 other filings with respect to a competing generic drug to treat gastrointestinal infections. In 2017, the current administration and the Federal Trade Commission said in the court case FTC versus Shire Viral Pharma that Viral Pharma's campaign had succeeded in delaying generic entry at a cost of hundreds of millions of dollars. The American people are indeed being played. We must end these abusive tactics. That is why we're advancing the bipartisan Stop Stalling Act, and I urge all my colleagues to support this legislation as we endeavor to lower prescription drug prices on behalf of the American people, and I yield back.